So yes, the final trailer for Pixar's Inside Out 2 is finally upon us. And in the whole lead up through Pixar doing the marketing for this movie, I have had endless praises for this movie. This seems to be a modern Pixar classic, doing it again. Usually with Pixar sequels, they can be very hit or miss. But with Inside Out 2 and the just breadth of concepts they have to play around with, this is looking to fill all the same boxes that has the same magic as the original Inside Out movie had done. I cannot wait for this movie, and I'm expecting it to be a cinematic and conceptual masterpiece just from the little bits I have seen so far. However, I am that douchebag on this website that likes to be overly critical of Pixar new projects. I swear it comes from a place of love, because Pixar has been my favorite animation studio. However, actually with Inside Out 2, I don't actually have a lot to complain about. I in fact only have one singular complaint. It's not ruining the entire movie for me. It is a notable dip, but I think it affects me more than the average general person, as I have had all sorts of other opportunities to make more Inside Out 2 videos if I wanted to, because there is constantly more and more footage coming out. And up to this point, I'd kind of decided to skip all of it for the most part, unless I see an official mainline Pixar upload of a trailer. Hey look, this final trailer here is exactly what I'm after. The reason I've chosen to skip this footage is because it is starting to go too far. All of the footage from the final trailer, for example, we've already seen. It's already been posted. Every other channel that likes to re-upload these trailers has already showcased all of these scenes, and way more, whether they go into international trailers or into behind-the-scenes compilations or verticals for TikTok and Instagram Reel, which is a particularly weird direction that I guess makes sense for modern-day animated movie marketing. However, with all of this extra footage coming out practically daily, I feel like there's easily an extra like 10, 20 trailers out there to witness. My one singular complaint for what is quite a close-knit Pixar movie is that in the marketing, they have started to spoil us too far. And it's not just in the footage alone. In fact, in a lot of ways, I actually bit the bullet and looked through all of the footage and found, for the most part, it's just clickbaity thumbnails. And these thumbnails were simply using images of concept art that actually spoiled some future events in the movie. However, where did they even get those images in the first place? This is really the core, because while I initially was going to start this video saying I thought I was spoiled from the footage, turns out it was just clickbait, actually no. The information that's being hidden in these clickbait thumbnails does exist, and Pixar have officially released it. It's not in an animated visual form for the most part, unless you count the background of a vertical video that I'm not going to show you for the sake of, keeping you innocent and allowing to witness a spoilery event in the big cinema. But Pixar for Inside Out 2 have released The Art of Inside Out 2 book. A nice concept art. I'm personally a big fan of this kind of series for, all sorts of animated movies. I'm a big fan of deco patching. All sorts of my furniture will soon be scattered with artwork from Studio Ghibli and the like. But the weird thing is, the book for Inside Out 2 specifically is already out. This movie doesn't come out until June 14th, and these books came out in May. Now, it's not that intense of a complaint in the fact of the average person isn't going to see it, right? Are you aware the book existed? Have you seen spoilers that are showcasing some future things that go on in the movie? Probably not, which is why this is such a mild complaint. Honestly, everything else that I'm seeing from Inside Out 2 is an absolutely polished, clean slate. The way they've successfully been able to expand all of the ideas and concepts in a way that both makes sense and makes it feel like we should have come up with it earlier, like the brainstorm and the sarcasm, I find that kind of stuff really interesting. And telling a puberty story with all of these additional emotional characters is great. Now, this final trailer is what I'm going to sort of see as the officially licensed piece of footage you're allowed to show, and I'll be honest, I didn't want to see the emotion of nostalgia already. I wanted there to be a surprise if there's more than the expected addition to the cast, The very fact that there is a new emotion, kind of a big deal. And it's just chucked in, even in this final trailer. However, this footage of nostalgia has been showcased in clips, at least 2 weeks prior, and it felt like I was really starting to lose elements of the movie. Thankfully, from the sounds of things, nostalgia's not that big of a thing, it's just a tiny gag on the side, but there are future events of the movie I really wished I hadn't seen. And is that the fault of me for going out of my way to watch every trailer there is? Yeah, absolutely. I understand that and I will take full responsibility for that. But also, there's gotta be some responsibility somewhere because someone in the Pixar marketing department decided to share it. It's not a leak, it's an official press release, I would assume. This is the quick poke to tell you to subscribe since you're halfway through this video, and doing so means you'll see our review in 10 days' time. Alright, back to it. And this wouldn't be the first time that Pixar marketing has been the flopping element of a production. Elemental has been fantastic on home streaming. None of us wanted to watch it in cinemas, and it's because the trailer for Elemental was so far off the mark for the actual story we're going to tell. But of course, for everything else we've seen so far with the trailers of Inside Out 2, the marketing seems to be doing pretty well. It's very damn repetitive when you've seen 30 different remixes and compilations of trailers with one additional 5-second clip in there. My goodness, I am so sick of Joy saying, "a new emotion!" But I get it, right? If I was to make a pre-release grade of Inside Out 2 for its presentation, first impressions, and general marketing, really, it would be like a 99 out of 100. There's just that 1% that, not even a leak, an official release in the form of a book that someone's taken, turned into a thumbnail, and chucked it into their footage compilation, and it's a shame. That's not even the case with all of them. There is one element that is in some of the licensed footage. There is a vertical clip that spoils a main kind of event piece in the later parts. And now I'm here with the curse of a movie YouTuber, going to watch this film, expecting all sorts of things that are going to come in the latter half of this movie. Even then, actually, in other aspects of the marketing, the fact that they showcase like the first 30, 40, 50 minutes of the movie to all the people in CinemaCon, still kind of weird. I imagine it comes from a place where Pixar feels like they've been on the back foot recently, with the likes of Turning Red being stomped more recently by critics and audience, and since Soul, it's been a bit of a tumultuous time going through lockdown. Lightyear as a reboot survival remake doesn't really seem to work too well, and even things like Luca now being pushed down, as apparently Pixar is pushing to make more general, wide, mass appeal films rather than more personal stories inspired by directors' stories, which is disappointing to say the least. Maybe we'll make a whole video on that at some point. I can understand why the marketing pushed so hard for this. It could have gotten away with just a 1, 2, 3 trailer, which is basically what we've covered, a CinemaCon preview that didn't include a third or a half of the entire damn movie, and then, you know, some additional things like the Super Bowl adverts. That would have been fine. But going so far as to constantly, practically every 3 days, releasing more trailer clips, pushing so hard to make sure everyone sees something of the movie, but to the point that someone can see almost all of the movie, it's my only complaint. It's mild, it's watered down. Honestly, this is a brilliant Pixar project. It's just that one asterisk at the end. And then I guess as a strange contradictory point, this final trailer then didn't showcase anything new either. You know, you've shown me so much 2-3 weeks ago, then you'll find like, here's the final trailer. It's a regurgitated official compilation of everything you've already released. That's not fun. But to be fair, I have seen more than enough of Inside Out 2. I know what the deep, dark secret is. The theories I had in my head, I can now tell are validated or invalidated, and I guess that's nice. I just would have preferred if I could have only had it in a cinema experience. If there is a silver lining to my very mild, very niche complaint over a movie that's probably pretty perfect, judging by the track record of the previous movie, the very fact that a general audience member is probably not going to be too exposed to it, assuming they're not subscribed to Joe Blow Animated to see some trailer thumbnails. Everything else on the marketing is doing its job for the average person. It has reached such a wide audience from just YouTube uploads alone, let alone all the other marketing that they're obviously done on the side. It looks to be a compelling and logical step forwards to one of the more modern Pixar classics to date. And as far as I'm aware, it's not brimming with much controversy on any other forms, other than a couple voice actors not returning. So yes, I am very elated that in 10 days' time we will finally get to see Pixar's Inside Out 2. I am relieved to finally see the final trailer, although I saw it 49 minutes after it uploaded, not 14, so I'm sorry I'm slightly late this time around. And my only complaint is a tiny one that hopefully hasn't affected you. We will come around to doing a full review when the main movie releases, and when that happens, I'll probably showcase all of the clips that I've ever been exposed to, so you can see how much of the movie they already released. Or hey, if you want to spoil yourselves as well with out of context, but also you can kind of piece it together clues, there is also YouTube videos of the Inside Out 2 concept art book released already that you can see someone going through if you really want to. But we'll talk about the main big story plots and what it means for the tone and messaging it's going to tell children and the impact it'll have on society as a whole as we dissect it in a couple weeks for the main review. The trailer looks great. I love the brainstorm with light bulb ideas in mind. We have an understanding of why Sadness is not around with the rest of them in certain pieces. They get their own arc down to the depthy pits or something. But otherwise, it's kind of a lot of retreaded territory, keeping it safe and hiding the fact that they've already exposed too much on the backside of things. But if my only complaints are how they've revealed the story, then surely that means the actual story itself must be pretty damn good. On that note, I'll be ending things off there. My name's been Daz. Thank you for reaching the very end of this mild little rant that I'll add to my collection of Pixar unnecessary complaints. And I shall see you all in a little